welcome to Rose City, the After Show, the podcast where we dive into the world of the popular novel Rose City by author me, Corenna Khieu. In each episode, we will be discussing a different aspect of the book, from the complex characters to the intricate plot twists and everything in between. Make sure to check out Rose City on Kindle Vella, the app, to stay up to date as we explore unique perspectives and insights on this story. Today, we will start off with What's the Commotion with Corenna Khieu.
Mom and daughter duo make history with the fastest growing Black-owned virtual assistant company. Dara Barrett and her daughter Essence are the founders of Virtual Assistants. Their company and its team of partners offer a range of services, including, but not limited to, calendar and travel management, call answering, bookkeeping, document preparation, presentation creation, and much more for small to medium-sized businesses. EVA even has team members available 24/7, as they are committed to providing convenient and reliable client support. For more details about this amazing company, Essence Virtual Assistants, and their wide range of virtual administrative support services, we will leave a link in the description. And you can always visit their official website at essencevirtualassistants.com. And now I will pass it to Corwin for our quote of the day.
Yes, the quote of the day is that if you and your woman are broke and you find $20, you don't tell your woman and she's still broke, but you are $20. Learn, men. Learn.
Is that a personal quote?
I'm sorry?
Is that a personal quote?
No, because I wouldn't do that to my woman, but I'm just saying this is for other folks who just, need to know how to manage that $20 and whatnot. You know what I mean?
So who are you quoting?
Me and my woman are broke. Oh, somebody who I don't want to mention because you all might know him and may not think very highly of him. So after I tell you that, so I don't want to besmirch his name, so there's that. Now, would I follow that advice? No.
Who was the author of that quote, Corwin?
Somebody who has dirt up under his fingernails. And I should say it all.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to say this.
The dirt up under his fingernails speaks for itself.
There's never a dull moment with you.
Unfortunately.
Oh, okay. Well, we are going to go into episode 6, Friday night, the club opening. This is part 3. This is when the crime boss shows up. Okay. So let's talk about our feelings on episode 6. We see a new character emerge that seems kind of on the dangerous side. Anybody have any thoughts on Erica, Antonio, or Chan that you just kind of want to throw out before we start going into questions?
I do. I've got to be honest with you. I think that Antonio is a real simp. And the reason I say that is that, you never make a promise to anyone about anything unless you can secure the bag. Now, if Antonio had stuffed the club with ladies from some of the many strip joints in Portland that actually catered to men's enjoyment, he invited good girls to a party. Well, at least 2 good girls to a party, because we all know that Erica is a thotty. But then, so he invites 2 good girls to the party and then tells this mob guy, hey, listen here, bro, you can have any piece in the room that you want. I mean, come on, man, really? He should have known that he was going to go for the person that he could not deliver. And I feel bad for Malia now because this is just a guess, and so I haven't read this far in the book yet. But my guess is that when Antonio does introduce Chan to her, that Malia may turn to him and say, "Hey, Antonio is a nice guy," and Antonio probably will, well, yeah. And I really fear what's going to happen to her because she's trusting her so-called friend. So, yeah, I think Antonio deserves 2 backhands and whatnot for what he said and done. But that's just my 3-piece.
I agree. But your camera quality is very distracting. I'm gonna ask you to black yourself out, bro.
Whatever.
Okay, so what were your thoughts, Alicia?
Just piggybacking a little bit on Corwin. I don't think it was right for him to just promise anybody, something that's not yours, to promise that to somebody. And especially him knowing Malia is bad, okay, her and her friends. And just based on, the description of what they were wearing that night and how good they were looking. And she's, just trying to relax, let her hair down, have a good time. And this man went and promised her, along with every other female in there, promised their butts to anybody, yeah, pick one. And you're going to have that one for tonight. And it's like, whoa, sir. But yeah, just basically, I didn't like Antonio for this particular chapter. I'm gonna leave it there so I don't answer my own question later on.
I love it. So, Miss Nikita, what were your thoughts?
I definitely agree with Alicia. The audacity of Antonio to promise that he can get any woman in there, like they would have no say, and it also makes you think, how much pull does Antonio have? Because are we underestimating his level of who he is in these streets, for him to say something so bold, or is he just talking like men do, But yeah, I definitely, man, Malia needs a vacation because it just seems like one thing after another. And I'm just like, I would just run screaming after the next thing that hit. Cause it's just like, oh my God, like, when am I going to get a break? So I still can't believe she got in the car and rode with Erica to the venue, but we're here now.
I agree. And I've actually been in situations. Again, Malia's not me, but I just thought that it was an interesting thing to do. And I don't want to go into one of the questions because it's coming up. But I have been in situations where so-called male friends of mine would basically try to flex. And if that meant telling somebody, oh, yeah, yeah, I'm going to get her for you. Don't worry about that. I literally had a friend of mine was like, hey, I'm trying to get something squared away with this guy, but I kind of need your help. And I was like, well, what do you want? And he was like, I just need you to kind of like be nice to him and flirt with him. He likes you. And then I can get what I want. And I was like, no, sir, you're not going to use me, and put me in some really awkward situation with somebody that I don't know. So that you can get something you're going to benefit off of it. I'm not benefiting off of this deal. So why would I be interested in that? So as a friend, I just, let me just back it up and say, I think like Monica was saying, Kyrie, was saying is that who is this man in the streets? Like for him to be so bold. And if you haven't read this chapter yet, they are at the club and their business is concluded. And so now Antonio's telling, Chan, like, I want you to loosen up a little bit. Let's have some fun. Let's get some freaks up here. Like, let's get the party started. And Chan's kind of like, I'm okay. This is a powerful man within himself and he's handsome. So it's not like he has a problem finding women of his own. But Antonio was like, nah, dog, I got you, player. It was like any woman you see in this building, you can have her. Like he was like just talking big trash. And he's like, any woman in this building I can have. And he's like, yeah, any woman you see, like you can have her. So he's like, all right. So, he kind of just like obliges him, you know what I mean? And he gets to looking around the room. And when he gets to scanning this room, he sees Malia from the back and something about her, he just connected. So now we're starting to go back to chapter 1 where Malia was having these dreams about some mystery guy. She couldn't see his face, but like the outline and like his suaveness, all of that was there. You know what I mean? But it was like the face, for whatever reason, was always blurred out. Everything around her and him was clear. So now he is being introduced as a new character. But now we're finding out that, wait a minute, this guy's been having dreams too. And so he's dreaming about somebody who looks like Malia. So when he sees her from the back, he's like, that looks like the girl from my dreams. And then kind of like Pandora's box is open. So Antonio has no clue what part he plays in this, with him trying to be Mr. Cool. Alicia, I think you can kind of remember, me and you had a situation at BNI. We were in the stereo store with somebody by the name of James. Tried something very similar.
He pulled an Antonio.
He pulled an Antonio on me, Alicia, and our other cousin Kim. And baby, Thor got turned out that day. So
he got the ones and twos.
Honey, at one
let
point,
him have it in that parking lot.
My cousins lost it. And people were coming and so like, what happened?
Rightfully so.
I was like, I'm just gonna leave because we're already about to be the ghetto black girls tearing up a store. But he really tried.
And that's Corenna. Like, she'll get down when she has to. But like, for the most part, she's the one to be like, okay, I'm gonna walk away first. So whatever comes after that is well deserved, because she always tries to walk away. Whereas me and Kim,
my two cousins, they just about tore that.
Can I interject there for a second?
Go ahead, sir.
You know, it has to do with the fact that women like, I'm going to just be honest with you. Now, this is not all women, but you do have a number of women that like men that have some kind of control and pull, right? So if he said that this guy is going to change your car tire tomorrow, Susan, then you want that man to snap his fingers and that man changes your car, Susan. And that's how it is. Now, the problem is that because this man now thinks that he's a man because he could control a couple of flunkies with his $15 or whether in his McDonald's gift cards, and now he feels that he can control the woman too. And the truth be told is that I think that when men like that have women around them who are so enamored by the little bit of control that they have, and in some cases those males, I call them men, but some of those males, they also may have convinced their woman to get into stuff that maybe they wouldn't normally do. Now, I'm going to give you an example. There was this gentleman that I knew who had children with two different young ladies who didn't like each other very much, and I assume it was because of him, but because of the control that he exerted over both of them, even though that he wasn't in a relationship with either of them, he somehow convinced him to have a threesome. So I think when you have people like that, then they figure that they can hand over the girl as a party favor, you know. And I mean, it's very unfortunate. It's very sad. As a matter of fact, I'll tell you guys a quick story real quick since we got a couple seconds here. This guy, and we'll call him B for bum, but B had this girlfriend who he was telling some other guys that he exerted a certain control over. And we'll call this other guy T for trash. T was like, listen, you're full of SB, and I don't believe that you have this control. So B decides to call up the girl and says, hey, listen, I need you to do me a solid. This guy is going to give me some car parts, but I don't have the funds for it. I need you to give him the bob and weave. Now, for folks that don't understand what a bob and weave is, it is fellatio, I guess, for a better term for it. And so Trash and Bum get into a car with a few other people and caravan on over to the lady's house. Now, Trash and Bum go upstairs, and then the other car occupants decide to go upstairs and find out what's going on too. So they sneak into the apartment, and apparently it's going down, where this young lady is now giving Trash the bob and weave and whatnot because of the control that Bum exerted over her. And so, yeah, it's a real thing and whatnot. And that's where Antonio thinks that he's the guy that he can do the same thing, which is why he made that promise. Now, Malia is not going for the business, my guy. So I think there's going to be some action there. And so I'm waiting for the next chapter, and I'm on the edge of my seat.
I think it also speaks to, and thanks for the story. I think it also speaks to Antonio's character as a human being. He looks at women as commodities. You know, again, we were talking about the stable of women and that type of thing. And it just goes to show, like, he's a pretty selfish individual, you know, and he wears that mask of, like, I care about people, but deep down inside, you look at people and you see like how you can use them to get exactly what you want out of them. And I didn't see where, he protected his friends, but we'll go on to the questions now.
Okay, so we actually have a submission from one of our super fans, Angie. She wrote a poem about, she read a passage of your book and she wrote a poem about it. So, yeah, we will listen to that now.
Trembling, regrouping, collecting myself in a hurry. What you just did turned me unworthy. I fight my way out. I claw my way out. Knuckles bloody, a little unscathed, but I'm alive. Mortified and can't cry. How many other girls has this happened to? It might be a common thing, but if I'm shy, the other girls must be too. The stall swings open. A betrayal witnessed. A friendship unsalvageable. It started out that way. With bad blood and intuition. What you just did turned you unworthy. I stormed the fuck out, mortified and can't cry. How many other girls has this happened to? How many times have you befriended a friend that turned out not to be a friend to you?
And thank you so much, Angie, for that poem. I think that you were able to really sum up that passage and the things that happened and put it into perspective in a different way so that people could really feel it in a different manner. She read the passage about what happened with Justin, Erica, Malia, and I think she really embodied that with that poem. So,
Jennifer from Vancouver asks, why did Antonio feel the need to flex for Chan? It seems like guys like to show out for other men. Why is that?
I think it comes down to wanting to be an alpha man. And the problem is that most of these guys aren't alphas, and there's actually a couple of other levels in between alpha and beta, and I think that he falls into one of the other categories I can't think of at the moment. I believe that Antonio wants to show Chan that he's just as powerful as he is, and that he is on the come up, and that he has all this, all of this control. But it's the same way when a guy says that he has a hookup at a car stereo place or a dealership, or he can get somebody a really cool, great deal on some weed. As a matter of fact, I was in New York over the weekend, and there was some guy who was standing outside of a convenience store asking random people if they wanted to buy some weed. I was in Times Square. And so you want to be able to be that guy that when your girl or somebody says, hey, man, I need that 20 sec, you know what I'm saying? And you say, oh, I got you. I mean, because that makes you seem like you are an important person, that you can get what folks need because you know everybody and you are connected. Antonio is kind of letting his a tavern establishment or whatever he's got going on over there. I think he's letting it run to his perm and whatnot, and I think it's going to not be so good for him, especially because I have a feeling that Malia is not going to be accepting of the advances of my man Chan.
So Alicia, what was your thoughts on that question?
Colin's question as to why Antonio felt the need to flex. I'm gonna say to try and put Chan at ease. Chan just did a really big business deal, and he's, well, I don't want to say gang affiliated, but I guess those, they tend to be tense. They're nervous about, or not nervous, but he came on guard, like ready for anything to pop off in case he didn't have all the money, and you get so built up and you're ready to flash at any moment or whatever. So now that he's been paid all his money, it's like, okay, dude, chill out. Let's relax. You got your money, blah, blah, blah. So I think, this is my club. This is what I'm doing. Get you some ladies, have some drinks. But, I think it was more of that. Because it was all made possible because he gave him that loan. So he can't flex too hard. But but it's like, all right, you got your money back and look at everything that I got going on and look what I have at your disposal, even though I still stick to my original point that everything in that club wasn't his to promise. So
I love that you said everything in the club wasn't his to promise. It's his
promise.
But you can't. Oh, yeah. So Kyrie Nikita, I like saying your name. Anyway, what were your thoughts?
I think it's a little bit of both. Like it's I'm just as big as you. In my world, you might be big in your world, but this is my scene. And he's trying to. And we see this all the time with men. They're always trying to show who's bigger, who's stronger, who's tougher. In our everyday lives, but. And then I do agree when Alicia said, after that payment was made, you obviously don't got it like that because I just paid you back. I just had to pay for all this money. So I didn't even think about that till she said it. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You can't flex too much when you got to borrow this money. But yeah, I just think men do that, for some weird reason. They just got to compare pant sizes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely think that Antonio was flexing extremely hard. Like we said, he had to take out this loan because when you're in the drug and gun business, or you're in the mafia, let's just call it what it is, okay? Whether it's mafia or cartel, when you are dealing with illegal money, you get large amounts of it quickly, but you need a way to be able to clean that money fast. And he had the capital, but none of that money was clean. You have to be able to run it through another business to be able to be like, oh yeah, this business is super successful over there. He couldn't do that. And so he had to go to Chan, and Chan is in organized crime, but he also has legit businesses. And one of his legit businesses is an investment company. So he went to him to get that money. And then once the casino and the other lounge and restaurants got up and going, he was able to be like, oh yeah, we'll see, I have the money now. But it was like, he really didn't have to invite him even to like the club opening. He could have just like sent his people over there with the money and gave it back. Like the fact that he invited him out and he was like, your birthday was last week, we want you to relax. Like it was very much like, I want you, like, I'm trying to disarm you. I'm trying to make you see that I'm more than just like a business associate. Like I could be more helpful to you. We could be helpful to each other. You know what I mean? And yeah, he was definitely in the club promising all types of stuff that he had no possibility of being able to say, yes, you can have that, or no, you can't have that. So I do feel like for some odd reason, and I think women do it too. Women will try to flex on another woman about stupid stuff. And I think that's like human nature. People trying to flex on other people, people trying to show out and say what they can do and what they can't do. And you can get quite embarrassed quite fast because how God do me, like instant karma. You already know what I'm talking about. So no, there will be no flexing over here because my God, he knows how to deal with me in the most embarrassing manner. So we're going to go on to the next question. I think that's you, Alicia.
Okay. It says, so is Chan the dream guy Malia has been dreaming about? I'm sorry. It seems like he must be the guy. I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say yes because, and not from Malia's point of view, because she knows what she but the fact that he has been having dreams, dropping stuff. Sorry. He's been having similar dreams about her. and this actually, Cohen's left the chat, but back when we were young, you know, Corenna, we used to hang out with Cohen and whatever he said, you know, because he was the teenager and we were kids. And so he was so cool, whatever. One thing he had told me back when we were little, he said that somebody had told him, I don't know who, but that when you're thinking about somebody or dreaming about somebody, that usually that person is dreaming about you, whether you know it or not. Just, you know, I don't know if that's true or anything. It's just, that's something he told me. And that's something I thought about when I read this. And he was saying how she looks like, she looks like the woman that he's been dreaming about. And I'm thinking if they're both having these kind of dreams, there's like another element there, not necessarily facts or whatever, but almost like a supernatural something that's trying to draw them together. They don't know, you know, she doesn't know who this guy in her dreams is, but she knows how she feels about him. And he doesn't know who this girl is in his dreams, but he you know, and it's a similar, they're having similar dreams and they're in the same spot and they're drawn to each other. So I can't say with 1,000%, you know, certainty that he is, but most likely, most likely he could be. Yeah.
I love that. Go ahead, Kiri. What are your thoughts?
You know, I love the idea of, you know, if you're dreaming about somebody, then they're possibly dreaming about you too. Because, you know, I've had a few dreams where, yeah, I've been plagued with nightmares of certain people being in my dream. And that would just make me feel really good if they were having nightmares about me too. Because I don't, you know, why are you here? You know, leave me alone. So I hope they're having nightmares about me too. And it's not just a one-way street. But I hope Malia doesn't jump to the conclusion too soon, or she actually takes the time to find out if it's Chan or not, you know, because at this point, you know, she is a little bit desperate for a relationship. And so usually when you want something so bad for so long, and then, you know, something presents itself, it looks like everything that you've ever wanted, you can tend to jump on that really quickly, you know. So I hope she takes her time and figures out, you know, who Chan is if she decides to get involved with him before she, you know, oh, he's it, and just putting all her eggs in one basket.
So true. And I want to piggyback off of both of you and what you were saying, Alicia, about the whole dream thing. Listen, I know it's not science or anything like that, but I definitely feel like that is true. There have been times where it's like I will be thinking about somebody hardcore, and either I'll see them or they'll be like, hey, I was thinking about you, or they'll say, I had a dream about you, or, you know, like two people picking up the phone at the same time to call each other. I can't explain it, but I feel like there is some kind of spiritual connection. I feel like you almost can manifest somebody to like call you or respond to you by thinking too hard. And I've had some really jacked up friendships with people, right? And I'm like, why is this chick on my mind? And I'm like, she better not hit me up on Facebook, better not call me, like, you know what I'm saying? And it would happen. Like, that person like, I've been thinking about you, and I'm just like, then I have to call, you know, Alicia and Carrie Ames, like, can she believe after what she did to me? How dare she, you know, just, you know, beside myself. But it would be weird that I would be thinking about this person, and it was like, are they thinking about me? Is that why? And so actually November, I think it was.
Okay.
I had called my cousin and I said, hey, I had a dream that you were at my house and and you know, your kids were here and stuff. And she got really quiet, and I was like, hello? You there, sis? And she was like, I had the same dream too. And so she started telling me about her dream, because I didn't even get to all the details, but it was the exact same dream. And I was like, I was on the couch with her little one, and we were, you know, had probably Disney Plus on or something like that. And like, she had her tablet, I was on my phone, but like, she was like right next to me, and it was just crazy. Like, she was like, yeah, that was my dream. And so it was weird that we both had the same dream. Like, I don't know if I've ever had the same dream as people. I think had similar dreams, but it was definitely like weird, because then my cousin was like, am I gonna die? And I'm like, you ain't going nowhere.
I was scared.
So you ain't going nowhere. God would never do me like that. He know how I feel about my ladies. He know how I feel about my girls. He ain't taking nobody out of here. You can't do that to us. So I definitely feel it's so crazy. But I definitely feel like there's some type of a connection, and I say like that connection can be used for good or for bad, because I've seen it on different levels where it's like, I mean, God didn't put that together. That was the devil. He put that together. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So I definitely feel like there is a connection, somehow, some way. I don't feel that everybody will ever have the opportunity to experience it. Some people are very naturally just sensitive to the supernatural for whatever reason. And, you know, being a part of our family, and when I say our family, I mean all of us on this panel. Yeah, so different things have happened. So I definitely don't think that that's in the realm of impossibility to have similar dreams or have the same dream or almost have a knowing. It's kind of like deja vu, right? Like people say, I had deja vu, and they can outline like what it was, and they're like, I've been here before, I've done this before. That's some other type of stuff, but I really do believe that I definitely believe that it's real, and I think that it's a powerful, and it's a little bit scary if you don't really know what to do with it. So I agree with both ladies on the points that they made.
This is from Jessica from the Bronx. Chan seems like a heavy hitter. How will his dynamic coming into the story change things?
Well, I would say Chan is definitely a heavy hitter. He is a part of the Chinese triad. If you know anything about them, they're some pretty tough individuals. I mean, anybody who deals with organized crime, you're kind of a different type of person. You're a different breed. It said that his father has been kind of sick lately, and so he's been stepping up to the plate, and he's now leading the organization. So he definitely is a heavy hitter. And the fact that him and Malia have been sharing these dreams, that does symbolize to me that there's like a shift happening in the story now, and he's going to become a main character. Because come on, like, what are the odds of somebody just seeing somebody from the back and being like, that person looks familiar to me, and then, you know, having these dreams. So I definitely think that there is this section right here is ushering us into a new era of like what is going to happen, because I don't necessarily think that Malia ever anticipated meeting this dream man. I think that she was probably just thinking they're dreams, and quite nice dreams, might I add, okay? But I don't think that she ever really truly anticipated meeting this dream guy. I think it was just like, something strange is happening. I'm having these dreams about this person. So this dynamic will be interesting to see what happens, and does she feel this connection? Because clearly he feels like he's locked in, and it gets a little crazy because when Antonio tries to sway him to be like, oh no, no, you don't want her players. Like she's kind of dry, she's old fashioned. Like if you're trying to get some tonight, she's not the girl for that. And he got really like nasty, like got real cold and was like, I want her. You said anybody in this club, go get her. You know, and it was like, even Antonio was kind of taken aback, like, did he really punk me in my own establishment? So I think that him coming into the story, some things are definitely going to be shifted. And I'm excited for the wild, crazy ride that's about to ensue. What about you, Kyrie?
I personally hope Malia runs away. I've invested in this story, and I just want to protect Malia. I feel so bad for everything that she's already gone through, you know, and it just seems like she's just really stressed out. My mode is to exit quietly, and you'll probably never see me again. So, you know, I hope, you know, if he is the man, no spoiler alerts, but if it is Chan, he better do right by my girl, because I'm going to have to pay a visit to Rose City. Oh.
I think it's almost kind of crazy to think that, like, what if this is the guy, right? What if this is the person she's been dreaming about? And it's like, what type of messed up universe would put a person like Malia with the man who's the head of the triad? It's like, okay, God.
This one?
We're going to have to have a conversation about this. My allergies have been tearing me up, so I'm sorry if I'm sniffling like crazy. I'm trying not to be running over here. But yeah, I mean, isn't that kind of just like strange if you know, even if she felt something or didn't feel something or didn't know, if the universe is trying to bring these two people together, it's like I don't think I fit into this man's world. You know, I mean, for instance, Antonio didn't even feel like he could talk about who he really is and the things that he really gets down with, because he knew that it's not a lifestyle that Malia would ever be able to accept. Chan knows nothing about this woman, but he's like, go get her. You know, he's like, nah, player, that's the one. And I said, go get her and get her now. So I'm just like, wow. You know, just it was the aggressiveness for me. And I'm with Kyrie. I'm like, girl, you got to run, Malia. Ain't nobody gonna be talking to me like that, period. Nah. I think the next question is yours, Alicia.
Okay. And just, I'm going to add my 2 cents about that one. I think that he is going to become one of the main characters. And also this is, I feel that he is the last thing she needs. And also he has the potential to expose Antonio. He might be the one, if they, you know, end up hooking up or whatever, she's going to find out more about her friend than she thought she knew. That was just my 2 cents. As far as the question, did Antonio fail Malia by not protecting her from men like Justin and Chan? Folks is grown, but yeah, I'll say if he sees her as a friend and almost like, you know, they're childhood friends, if I remember. If he's not like her protector, but kind of, you know, he's supposed to kind of play that role a little bit. She didn't know what they were about, but he knows what they're about, and he knows what she's about. So to introduce her to these guys, I just don't think, especially this Chan guy, and their business dealings, and now that he's expressing some type of like serious interest in her, he probably figured Justin wasn't going to get too far, no way. But with Chan, I think he did try to, you know, like, yo, no, you know, pick somebody else, you know, but Chan was insistent, and then whatever. So I don't want to put it all 100% on Antonio, but in a way, yeah. So yes and no. He kind of failed her, but then at the same time, people has grown. So just how Chan is drawn to her, she's probably drawn to him. So, you know, it could have went either way, where he could have kept Chan off her trail, and she's like, no, I just know that's the guy in my dreams. I'm going. No, get out my way, Antonio. You know, so that's why I said folks is grown. But in a sense, yeah, if there's any way for him to step in and intervene, he knows what his people are. You know what I mean? So.
What about you, Kyrie?
Well, I 110% believe Antonio failed Malia, you know, and even him he already knows that Malia is not going to go for that type of guy. So, and I do agree with what Alicia said, you know, he's just thinking she's just going to shut him down anyway. So it's really, you know, no harm, no foul. I can still save face with my boy. She going to shut him down anyway, but it's still putting her at risk, you know, even chancing that, you know, and I do get that, you know, you don't really, like, Antonio probably doesn't know how the level Justin will really go to get what he wants. He may not know that side of him, you know, he might just know that, you know, he's in the world or whatever. So he really maybe he didn't think that he would really go that far, but you still know what he does, you know, overall. So, and I kind of feel like Antonio is defending himself more than, you know, looking out for his, you know, his so-called friend or best friend or whatever. And then he just doesn't give her a heads up, or, you know, I mean, even like I've been in situations with my brothers where it's like, they'll introduce me to somebody, and then after that, it's like, yeah, you stay away from him. You know, I can't tell you more, but just, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, tell me something. Wink at me. Say, no, like, you know, give me a sign. And he didn't do anything. So that's why I feel like it's absolutely, you know, on Antonio, whatever happens to Malia from this point, you know, the people that he's introducing her to. Because she feels like, hey, why would he introduce me to somebody that's not anything? And she thinks highly of Antonio. You know, she doesn't know what he does. So she has this high opinion of him, thinking he's a well-established man in the community. And of course, why wouldn't you hang out with other men that are like you? You know, so yes.
I definitely agree. And I think that Antonio, in essence, has failed her here because, okay, let's just go back to, what was it, chapter 3, Luca. Malia was getting some really strange vibes off of him and felt like whatever he was involved in, she wanted no parts of. So quite clear that if she thinks that somebody's involved in something that's crazy or that can get the ATF or the DEA kicking down her door, she wants no parts of the FBI or any of the alphabet boys coming through with guns, right? So the fact that he knew who this man was and didn't do more to stop it, it was like, Chan specifically asked, have you dated her? I mean, like, he's trying to figure out, why can't I have her? Which speaks to his character as a human being, that, like, he's not used to being told no either. Like, we have all these men in this story that have an issue with control, dominating others, and always getting their way. So when Antonio was like, no, I haven't never like talked to her, but like, I just, you know, and he was like, well, then I don't see the problem. Is go snap to it, go get to it, go get that chick for me. So I just believe that he should have said something. He could have been like, that's my cousin, that's my sister, can't do it, you know, pick somebody else in the club. Hopefully it'll be a lesson learned for him that you just can't go and volunteer people's bodies for the evening, because it can get some people really, really messed up. And again, you're dealing with these types of men who are very powerful and strong. They're not used to somebody telling them, no, you can't have this person. Well, who are you to say no to me? Do you know who I am, sis? I'm somebody, you know? And so I do think, yes, I'm somebody. So I definitely think that he put her in a bad situation. And even Eva, you know, because somebody else or other, you know, people at that party, because had she known these are the type of people that you associate yourself, this kind of man that you are, she would have been like, no, sir. I know we have some history, but this is where that train, it ends here. So I do wish that he would have been more of a protector. I do wish that he would have, you know, steered this person away, said something. There have been times where it's like, I have 4 brothers, okay? And you know what that's like when you have brothers. And you know your brothers, right? And they were trying to get at one of your friends. And it's like, no, sir. No, you can't talk to her. No, sir. You know what I mean? Because I know what's going to happen. You're my brother. I know you. I know your past. This is my friend. And I wouldn't be a good friend if I did not warn her. Yes, sis, my brother's going to make hamburger meat out of you because he's going to fry you up. It's about to be a situation for you now. You jump at your own risk. If that's something that you still want to be involved in, okay, but I'm telling you, it just doesn't end well. So that's my rant. Next question.
Who do you think is the man who walked up to Malia at the bar? She became upset. Why? Well, obviously she knows the voice. So it's definitely somebody that she doesn't like. And And yeah, I'm not going to give any spoilers. So definitely read chapter 7, episode 7 to find out who it is. But yeah, I definitely know it's somebody that she doesn't like, may even possibly be somebody she's had some dealings with, just to have a reaction like that, you know. So
Alicia, what are your thoughts? Who do you think the mystery person was at the bar?
Well, now that I know, you know, it'll be a spoiler because I was just gonna come right out and be like, oh, it was I'm gonna say a piece of her past, a piece of her trauma. That's the reason for her reaction. Something she didn't want to be reminded of without giving out any spoilers.
So a little background was Malia was sitting in the VIP area. Her and the ladies were living it up. They were having a great time on the dance floor. Drinks were flowing. It was one part where it was like she was dancing with somebody who was like the starter for like the Trailblazers, one of the starters on the Trailblazing basketball team. And pictures started being taken, and she's like, let me go sit down, because she didn't want to be all over the newspaper as a jump off. Like, that's specifically what it said. She went and set her little happy self down, because it's like, it's fun to dance with somebody and have a good time. But if you're dealing with somebody who's a celebrity and they're well known and you're photographed together, everybody automatically puts you two together. Then people start digging into your life. Are you dating? It could have just been two people who were at the club dancing or talking, and now we got marriage rumors and people are 3 months pregnant. You know, these types of things are flying around. So clearly Malia has been in club scenes before where maybe she saw all this happen to somebody else or experienced it for herself. So when the camera started flashing with her in the sky dancing, she was like, thanks for the dance, I'm gonna go sit down. So when she's sitting down, she's, you know, on her cell phone. When you're a business owner, sometimes it can be really hard to like unplug yourself from your business. And so you find yourself like, oh, let me check my email. Let me look at this. And so she's getting a text message from like a weird number that's like something like, hey, how you doing, sexy, or whatever. She's like, don't know who this is, right? And if she's anything like me or most of my ladies here, I'm not even gonna text back. You know, if a number shows up talking, in the words of my mom, talking that stupid talk with her Alabama self. If somebody, you know, hits me up in the number, I don't know the number, I am not even going to carry on a conversation. I'm not even going to be like, well, who is this? Well, I don't recognize this number. I don't care, because not to be rude, but if you were really that like important to me, you'd be a phone number I'd recognize off the bat. Like, you just would. And so she ignores it. And then there's another text message again talking about how she looks pretty good, like from like the last time this person has seen her. And at this point, it's kind of alarming to her because she's thinking, what? Like, is there somebody here at the club seeing me, texting me? And if so, who would that be? So she decides, hey, I need to get some water. The alcohol is flowing and it's wonderful, but she just wants some water, and she just needs to kind of just walk and just get out the area, you know? And as she's standing there at the bar, telling the bartender she would like some water, a voice from what I would assume probably a man starts speaking to her. She didn't turn around, but there's a part of the book where it's like she just became very upset. She became very angry. And she just was like, this is not happening to me. So to me, I think it has to be somebody that she knows, somebody she got a beef with, maybe somebody from her past, somebody who she clearly has not seen in a while and did not expect to see them at this party tonight. I won't give away any spoilers because the next chapter, I would say, is probably one of my favorite chapters because of what takes place next. You know, I think that up until this point, Malia's been this very sweet girl and just always trying to do what's right. You know, always trying to make sure that she's respectful and she's kind. And I think that sometimes when people from your past show up, you know, you gotta turn up on them a little bit. So read chapter 7 so you can see what that looks like and what took place. And then find out also what happened with Chan and, you know, Did she meet him? Did she feel disgusted and repulsed? Did she feel in love? Like, what happened? So there's going to be a lot to talk about for chapter 7.
Last question. Do you think it's possible for people to share the same dreams with each other? We kind of touched on that a little bit earlier. If so, can our dreams link us or send us messages for the future? I definitely think so. Like Corenna said earlier, it just depends on, how tapped in you are into your spiritual side. Because in order to really connect that way, you have to be in tune with oneself, to really get those answers that you're seeking. And I know for myself, like I've had a dream about somebody, like a friend, she was crying and upset, and I called her the next morning and I was just like, "Are you okay? I had this dream." And she was just like, "Oh my gosh, I've been crying all night," so I definitely think it's the connection that you have with people, and how deep that goes. But one thing that I really am interested in is the spirit world connection in our dreams, and I hope they develop something, because I think it's possible. I hope it's possible that we will be able to connect with people that have transitioned from the physical world into the spiritual world, through the dream world. If we can learn how to astral project and maneuver through that space better, I feel like there could possibly be a way that we could connect with those that have come before us and ask questions, talk to our grandparents and, people that transitioned before their time, get insights of different things. So yeah, I do think some things there that we have not explored yet.
Alicia, any thoughts? Can't hear you, babe.
All right. I'm sorry. I had to unmute myself.
Okay.
Definitely, yes. And we did touch on that earlier. Me and Corenna, our connection is almost out of this world. I mean, like, we're related and stuff, but I mean, she can have a dream, I can have a similar dream, or sometimes it's not even dreams. It could just be a feeling. She'll call me, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "Girl, today is just not the day." Somebody about to get snatched up, or I could be in a really great mood. And she's like, "You know what? I was feeling that too today." Like, we don't know what it is. And so, yes. And then we both told the story, or she told the story of how we had that same dream before. I mean, the exact same dream about my daughter, being her little cuddle bug, which is like my daughter. She's nobody's cuddle bug. She's a sweetheart, but she's not a cuddler. So when I told her that she was telling me about the dream, we got quiet. Well, I got quiet, actually scared. But that's not the first, certain things that happen, and it does depend how connected you are to somebody. As far as in the future, maybe. I guess in one world is that, people say psychics. Me and Corenna, we grew up in church. Well, you too, Kyrie, grew up in church, and we were told about prophets. So you can have a dream, and then you're like, "Oh man," and then it comes to pass, as certain saints would say. And I believe it's definitely possible. It just depends on how in tune you are with your spiritual side, and if you are even connected that way, because it's not, some people can see it as a gift or a curse or whatever, but some people, especially like skeptics, they've never experienced anything like that, so it's hard for them to believe that such that can happen or it can exist. They always need science. They need hard facts to prove something like this can, but so my answer is all in all, yes. I believe people can share the same dream.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I believe that the supernatural world is something that there's just so much to it that we just don't know. And I would say, like, I'm not the type of person where I feel like I'm so deeply spiritual or like I do anything to like enhance these gifts. But there are things that have been with me, Kyrie and Alicia, our entire lives that we can't explain. Seeing people who aren't there very, very detailed. I remember one time we were kids and we were at Alicia's house and we saw the same thing. And I thought she was like shining me on because I was like, did you see the man it was in her brother Dinky's room. And I was like, what was he looking like? Because I wanted to know. And when she started to describe, always, right? When she described it, I was like, oh my God, she literally saw the same thing that I saw. You know what I mean? And sometimes like with Kyrie, I'll call her and I'd be like, something's going on, and she's like, how you know, and it's just like, we're just so connected on that level where it's like the crazy things that happen to us, the three of us, like if something's happening to me, I can guarantee I call Alicia, I can call Kyrie, and they are having the exact same experience. And I'm talking about down to the T. So, little backstory. My family owns a funeral home. And I don't think that has anything to do with our supernatural side or whatever. I don't think it has anything to do. I think if anything, it kind of makes it worse. So Alicia was working at the funeral home one day and something fell down, remember? And my mom went crazy and started praying and you called me. What happened? What happened with that?
Which time? Because there's a few times things popped up at the funeral home.
Okay, so a little backstory. Monica worked at the funeral. We've all worked at the funeral home. Okay, like we're raised in the funeral home as little girls and stuff. Monica was like the head secretary over there for a long time, and so she would experience crazy things happening as well. There was something that happened, and I think my mom might have seen it on the camera, and you were downstairs. And remember, my mom had those weird tapestry things that she had anointed with oil, like put over the doors and stuff.
Right.
What happened? I remember you called me and said some stuff happened.
Okay.
And then I'm with you, all hell broke loose at my house.
I think, because there was two different instances, but I think the one you're talking about, I was actually downstairs vacuuming, and I kept hearing different things going on and stuff falling over or whatever, and then I went to go close. There's like these double doors. They're gone now, or they've been replaced now. But these ones, the first set, they had a handle to them. And I mean, you had to literally pull it, like you needed some weight to it. And I just like kind of reached my hand towards it to close it because I was done vacuuming there. And this thing, bam, just slams hard as I don't know what, like a window was open or something. And if you know this door, I mean, a tornado can hit it and it's not going to close. You would still have to finish pulling that door shut. This was before it was replaced. And when that happened, stuff started flying, stuff just started going. And of course, because I was downstairs by myself. So I go run upstairs and I'm telling everybody what's happening, and Miss Kitty, she lost it. She got the praying, no, the blood of Jesus, and blah, 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 and just going off. And then, I think that's the instant you were talking about. There was another one where I saw that man and you called me. And, that's where even the other person there, had started talking to it, thinking it was another employee. And then when she realized what was happening, Kitty got busy with that too. But that's the one where Kitty went downstairs. And if you know Miss Kitty, she doesn't move too much unless it has to be serious. And it was serious. She grabbed her cane and she went down them stairs, and the way she was yelling at that, you would have thought she was one of the kids, one of us, ready to slap it up, because she wasn't down there like, oh, hallelujah, praise God. I mean, she did that too, but she was like, and you don't run nothing up in here, and let me tell you it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm sitting there like, and I think, half of that was because I was so scared. That's Kitty's like a second mom to me. So it's like, oh, you messing with my baby? Okay, I got something for that. And so she went down there telling it all first. And then, Corenna had called me and told me stuff was, going at her, it's always stuff flying off of something. Whatever these spirits are, be mad at us. They like to throw stuff all the time. That's how we usually know, house is kind of quiet. You feel weird, and out of nowhere, you hear something, or you see something flying past your face. You're like, oh, this is what we're doing? And so, that's, there's been lots of instances at that funeral home since we were kids, stuff popping off with us.
I really thought that when I moved away from my family, I was like, I'm moving 2 hours down the road. I'm saying bye-bye to that supernatural lifestyle. And that thing was like, baby, I got up in that box that you packed. And when you unpacked it, I was there with you, like, you're not escaping me. And so I remember that day, because my mom, I answered the phone, and my mom is screaming, the devil's down here bothering Alicia. And I was like, well, what's happening? And so she put my cousin on the phone, and my cousin was like, yeah, girl, this crazy stuff is breaking off down here. And I'm like, okay. And so my mom's like, I'm going to take care of it, though, So I was like, all right. And so my mom goes crazy and tells the devil off, and that's where I get that from too, right? So I was like, okay, I gotta go work out now. So I went into my garage and I'm working out, and I got like this real strange, like little eerie feeling or whatever. And I'm like, look, it's probably just because I got that phone call, and I know my mom's acting up, at this point. Baby, there was this big old box. I'm talking about a big old box. And the box had been in this location in my garage for like 2.5 years. All of a sudden the box just gets thrown over. And I'm like, why y'all gotta mess with me? So my mama puts it out, and it's like, well, let's go to Corenna's house and see if she wants to play a little bit. And so, I always tell Kyrie, I said, you get all the nice stuff that wants to talk and, and be kind. I said, I get stuff over here breaking my good stuff. Like, stuff is falling over and breaking, and the kids and the cats ain't there. And my husband was like, babe, I just think that, you're just like, he would always try to have an excuse. And he got to the point where he was like, I don't know what this is, but there's no excuse for it. So, again, it's not anything that like we've ever tried to do. These are just things that have always been for us. So the whole dream world, I think that, dreams are, for me, dreams have been signs. Dreams have been warnings. Dreams for me have told me things that were to come. So there's sometimes like if I get sleepy at weird, and it's not like a weird time, but it's like not a time that I would normally take a nap. If I get sleepy and I all of a sudden just feel like, it's noon, I need to lay down. I'm like, that's weird that I would need to take a nap. I've learned to allow myself to just lay down, because it's usually some type of a message or a dream, something that I need to know. I could go off into some stuff, but y'all would be scared. Like, I'm putting this book down. I don't know what's wrong with her. But yeah, I've learned that sometimes it's messages that are being sent to me that I need to know about things or people, things that are to come. And I'm grateful for it, because there have been times where I would have been caught off guard, wouldn't have known about certain things. I would get a dream that somebody's about to betray me before they betray me, that they're about to do something shady to me, or, what I'm saying, before it happens. So kind of like put you up on game a little bit, or at least you start to feel some kind of feeling. Come on, Kyrie, what you got, baby? What you got, sis? What you got? She was like, no, I ain't got no, you got something. I know you got something.
I don't have anything. I was just thinking about all the experiences that, we've had. I was thinking about that time we went to girls trip, and a few of those things that was happening out there. But I was thinking, we need to do a segment about, talking about our different experiences. I think it would be hilarious. And I think it's funny how, people think we really are making this stuff up. And then when they experience exactly what we're talking about, and they're like, oh, you're not playing. Oh, I'm sorry. And they humble themselves real quick. And I remember when my husband, when I say things, he's just like, yeah, okay, And so I know I have these two ladies that they don't follow me around a lot, but when I'm in I get really angry, upset. I feel like I need more protection in my life for whatever's going on. I just need some more support, some more spiritual support. I've noticed these two women that seem to show up, and they have these big lions with them, these big beasts, lion type creatures with them. And they're always there until I start feeling better. And it was a couple years ago. I was going through a hard time dealing with a few personal situations. And I had reached out to, my spirit friends, like, hey, I need y'all, just be with me during this time. Just give me strength, because I tend to be really emotional. And so they hadn't showed up yet. But one night my husband went to sleep. He woke up the next day after I had asked him to come. And he was like, oh my gosh. He was like, sweetheart, there was these two ladies standing in the kitchen in my dream, and they were looking for you. And they were like, where's Monica? And so I told them that you were upstairs, but he said that he went to get his gun. And this is in the dream. He went to get his gun because, they're intruders in our house, right? What you looking for my wife for? And so they proceeded to walk towards him, and he shot at them. And he said the bullet just went right through him. And he said it scared him. He stepped out of the way. He said they came upstairs to talk to me in the room. And then, they left. And so I was just like, oh, yeah, those are my two, those two women that I told you about. Those are my spirit friends. They were probably looking for me, And so he was like, I believe you now, so. I think, but yeah, I think that'll be a fun podcast segment that we do. Maybe an after the after show, one day we'll stay on and talk about things.
I definitely agree. Because again, I think that there's a lot of things that we don't necessarily understand. I know I don't. And I know there's never been anything that I've done to try to, deeper my understanding of things, because coming from super religious families like ours, like Pentecostal, Apostolic, whatever, Kojic, there are just a lot of things that you just don't do. It's always believed it's angels or it's a demon, and there was never any in between, and there was always a lot of fear. Just like something shows up and it starts talking to you, just scream Jesus and run out the room. Like, that was just our way of being told to deal with things, and it's been a wild type of thing. Even when you have children and then they start to have experiences with things, or they start having dreams, and those dreams are messages for them. And I'm like, what is all of this? And why us? You know what I mean? Like, why us? Because, like Alicia said, you have people who are skeptic, and because they've never experienced those things. And I'm not gonna lie, there are times I want to trade seats with them. I want to be the person, who can say that they've never experienced anything, and my life would be complete. So, but again, apparently this is a gifting that God He wants me to have. I don't understand it. It's got to be used for His glory in some type of way. Any closing thoughts, my ladies?
The world would be so sad. Wouldn't you be bored if nothing ever happened to you? Like, I
was just about to say, I'm like, girl, about 20% of our conversation is gonna be out the window. Right. But at least you at least you got us, and we are in your corner, and we are on this crazy journey with you. That's all. It makes a difference. But yeah, it like I said, it could be a blessing and a curse, because I have had dreams and stuff that's warned me of stuff to come, and even stuff I didn't, I'm like, no, Jesus, God, no, but but I'm thankful for it. I would hate to be on the other side of not, not saying I like the stuff that happens, because like I said, the stuff that mess with us ain't nice, like the stuff that messes with Kyrie. Stuff that mess with us.
All the nice spirits. We got stuff that want to fight, baby.
And going back to that girls trip, that the three of us were on, Kyrie is this, nice little boy, blah, blah, blah. And I got beat up. And I mean, beat bad. And so, it's just, but, I wouldn't want to be, I guess, blind to it. Not maybe because I've dealt with it my whole life. I wouldn't know. It's kind of shaped who I am.
It definitely has.
And it, it's hard for me when I'm around people that are atheist, or they're just, no, there's an explanation for that. And I'm like,
no, there's not.
What must be?
Do you remember when we were in California and I had finally woke up and she was like, something attacked me, and I was like, what? And I was shocked. And it was crazy, like that whole story, because it made clear sense. Because I remember me and her were talking 1 second, and I was just kind of like laying there, and I wasn't even like dozing off. We were talking, and then it was almost like something turned the light out on me, and I was just done. And that's when she got attacked. She was trying to reach for me and all that stuff. But so we woke up, and because me and her shared the loft together, and we were talking, and the way that the loft was set up, there was like these big windows, and like the doors downstairs, there were these windows, and they had like a little shade, but you could see anything like that would pass, shadows and people walking past or whatever. And we hear,
right.
So we're like, well, who is that? And so she's like, well, let's go downstairs. And the scary cat that I am, I was like,
And thank you for stopping me, because I'm sitting there like, who's at the door this time of night? Ready to go down there and open the door.
She like, we ain't worried about none of that Easter cold. Like, what I'm saying?
We all up in here. Right.
So she was like, I'm gonna look at the door. I was like, no, you're not. I was like, let's look over in the window. So I pulled the blinds down. There's nobody there. So we were like, oh, it's probably maybe some kids out here just playing, or whatever. So we go back to our conversation. We hear, well, I jump up even faster now because I'm trying to anticipate seeing somebody run. And so she's standing there and she's like, did you see anything? I'm like, no. And so I was like, well, you would have saw somebody standing at the door because
you
it was shade, but you didn't outline. We didn't see any of that. But there was something definitely was trying to communicate with us, and it was doing big things. And Monica went to sleep with the TV on, and the TV started talking, and I was like, "Girl, what?"
And the lights actually did the lamp that we had on had shut off, like it did the night before. It shut off. Yeah. Corenna and we were talking, like I was still talking to her because we were having a conversation. It wasn't like she was sleepy or nothing. But next thing you know, the lights went out. She's over there, knocked out. And I'm like, and then I got beat up. Yeah, but the second night we kept hearing this knocking, and we're looking because from where we were, you could look over the little loft ledge, and there's no silhouette, nothing. I'm like, ain't nobody there.
Which is crazy because Monica, you were on the couch by the front door. So
yeah,
you would have heard somebody knocking at the front door, and and you didn't hear nothing. I remember I went downstairs.
And Tanya too. Tanya was knocked. Everybody
was right in the other room by the door. She didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
I went downstairs to grab some toilet paper. And baby, I decided, I'm not going to be doing this. We're going to be like linking up as friends, going downstairs with like a buddy system. I didn't want to turn on the lights because she's, Kyrie was like 7 months pregnant. So, you don't want to be bothering pregnant people like that. And then her sister was in the room sleeping. But I walked past Tanya's room to go to the bathroom to get extra toilet paper. And I saw a man standing up in there, and I knew it wasn't nothing I knew it wasn't a situation where it was like, that's a real person. I knew it was something supernatural. And baby, I got my toilet paper and I just went upstairs. I don't even think I said anything to Alicia. I was ready for that girl's trip to be over. I was ready to be done. I was like, I don't know what the four of us have stirred. I mean, again,
it was probably the dude that beat me up.
I haven't done anything. And I'm like, we didn't show up to a certain city, and we have created some type of a tornado where everything that's supernatural wants to talk and hang. Not with me.
Right.
I think they just have fun. And I try to always lighten the mood when it comes to spiritual talks because my girls be on it. They be like, nah, and I'm like, no, let's do what they want. Like, maybe they have a message for us or, but they're like, no.
Right. I'm not taking that message. You would be wasting your time on me. I'm not the one who's delivering nothing. I'm a waste of a resource.
I'm here. I don't want it. Tell me when I'm on the other side. When I get over there with you, that's when we can talk about it. Don't mess with me now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do believe it's a blessing and a curse too. Because although most of my spiritual experiences are, on the pleasanter side, then I have had my scary experiences too, and I have a few that one of the most disturbing ones is when they run up on me. It's like they're trying to challenge me or they want me to be scared, and I'm not giving them that fear energy that they want. And I'm just like, I just tend to freeze up and be like, what do you want? If you don't want anything, you need to leave. And then, after I say that, they just poof, and they're gone. But they do try to scare you. And I think it's just for a reaction, because nobody's actually thrown a knife or, bowls at me or anything like that. Cause then it would be a different story. Then I might not be okay with it either, but I think I love the most about, my spirit friends is like, if I'm looking for something I can't find, and I'm like, okay, I need help finding this pacifier. I can't find it. I've been at it, and then like a minute or two later, somebody has found the pacifier, or anything else that I'm missing, and so, but yeah,
I get stuff that steals things from me, and I'm like, I know something evil took it. You bring it back in Jesus' name, and I'll come back in the room and it's there, and I'm like, see, y'all playing with me. Y'all know I'm gonna be late for the appointment, and y'all taking stuff. And I'm not gonna be doing that in the name of Jesus. Like we're not doing it, So I definitely
think so funny when I don't see something, and I'll be on the phone with you, and then I turn around and it's there. And I was like, how did I miss that? You're like, nah, you didn't miss that. Them spirits then took it. They playing with you. They playing with you.
I'm like, no, sis. Me and her were on the phone, and this was in December. We were on the phone, and I was talking to her, and I asked her a question, and I heard, yeah, girl. And I was like, hey, who's there? And she was like, it's me downstairs in my office. And I said, did you say yeah, girl? And you were like, no, what are you talking about? I'm like, I asked you a question and I heard somebody else answer, yeah, girl. And we was all having a 30-way phone call. You know what I'm saying? And she was like, I don't know. And I was like, I got to get up off this phone. Like they playing with me and stuff. They all my conversation adding in stuff. People that whole fight. You called me the B word. No, I didn't. I heard you. You know what I'm saying? So,
right.
But I do think that we should definitely have another segment where we can go into these things and talk about our experience, maybe like on an after show, because I do think that people are dealing with stuff and they don't understand it. And again, in my family, it's always just been like, we don't entertain these things. I get it, but I haven't sought to entertain anything. It has been seeking me, and I don't know why. So
I'm entertaining all of, and I love that I have you guys to kind of, because like you said, we don't have anybody to talk about this stuff with, and I went so long not saying anything, just dealing with things, and then doing as my mother had me to do. That's the devil. You need to pray it away. Don't worry about it. And a lot of times, like when I was a child growing up, I would dream that somebody was going to pass away, and then they ended up passing away. And I was just like, I don't. That's scary for a kid to experience. And then different things that I would dream about, and they would actually happen. It's like, did I do that? Like, what's going on? And then your parents don't have any answers for you, and they equate everything to the devil. And it's just like, well, the devil's giving you that dream to scare you, and you just got to go pray and God to take away the nightmares, and everything will be fine as long as you obey the 10 commandments, and it's just all that stuff, right, which really doesn't give you anywhere to go with when you're like, why does it have to be the devil? Because nobody calls it the devil when the prophets are doing it in the church, right? But because it's me and I don't have a title, it's the devil.
This is. My mom and dad was me. If you were behaving like a nice girl, these things wouldn't be bothering you. Like the devil wouldn't be bothering you at nighttime. He wouldn't be in your room knocking stuff over, talking out the closet if you was a better child. And so I was
so rude.
I grew up thinking
Right.
maybe I was a bad girl doing bad things, and which I wasn't. But you're telling a 9-year-old child that you got the devil in you, now he's coming to hang with you because y'all friends. And I was like, I don't think that's how that works. But I have recently discovered that my father was dealing with a lot of supernatural activity as well, but he did not talk about it. My mother, on their side of the family, it's not something that people talk about. It's just like, nope, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. We going to church on Sunday, and that was pretty much it. But my dad was dealing with stuff too, and he was just like, nope. But my dad had a philosophy that if you talk about these things, they're going to happen to you. So if you don't talk about them, you ignore them, they just go away. Hasn't been what worked for me. So, and I recently discovered that I guess I was thinking back on like a memory that he had when he worked at the funeral home. So my grandmother also worked at the funeral home. So when I say the whole family gets down, it has been down in the funeral home business, like we all have. Okay. So my grandmother, she worked at the funeral home, and my dad was embalming somebody, and my grandmother was getting a lady dressed for her service. And there was a garbage can in the embalming room, and they had a lid on it, and the lid just kept flying across the room. It happened like twice, and my dad would be like, "Betty, you see that?" And she's like, "Yeah, it's really odd that this is happening." And so my dad was like, "Hey, you know what? I got the cure for cancer." So he went and found one of those cement blocks, and he put it on top, and he was like, it's not going to be able to come off. And my dad was like, it has to be wind or air. It ain't no wind or air, even open. So my grandmother's, she's back to dressing this lady, getting her prepared to go into her casket, and my father's embalming somebody else. They're talking, that's what you do back there. You talking, you're like, or you have music going. At least it's how we did. But while they were, doing their jobs, the lid came off again, and the little block, the cement block, it went flying too. So my grandmother just threw down whatever she had in her hand, clothes and all, and my dad, and they got out of that embalming room. They was like, no, and so for years, my dad, he would talk about it. But when he would talk about it, he was always trying to rationalize, like, well, there has to be an explanation for this, there's no way. I don't think it was spiritual. And I'm like, sir, you've been having experiences that you don't want to acknowledge because it's scary. And I get it. Knowing that something is there that you can't physically see, it is scary. But I mean, God is here too. I can't see him, but I mean, he could be that guy too, because like God ain't playing. But like I'm not afraid of him. So, I don't know. But I think it would have been better if we would have grown up having these discussions about like what people were going through, as opposed to making people feel crazy for going through it. So.
I always wondered where that cinder block came from. I think there's 2 of them back there now. They seem
there's always a cinder block.
Yeah,
I've probably been there in the time. Like it's always there. Yeah. Well, that's it for our week's. Well, yeah, that's it for this week's episode of Rose City. We went down another like a rabbit hole, but I think it was a good rabbit hole, and hopefully somebody else was able to get something from it. Again, I appreciate my 2 lovely co-hosts for being here as always. And my brother, he had an appointment to get to, so I guess that's where he ran off to. But I appreciate what he was able to contribute to this week's episode. So that's it for us here. We hope you enjoyed our discussion on episode 6. Don't forget to tune in next week when we will be diving into episode 7. If you haven't already read it, there's still some time to get caught up, okay? The first 3 episodes are free on Kindle Vella, the app. So there's really no excuse. Like, check it out. It's a good story. We like it. We're hooked. So know that we are putting out new episodes all the time. So episode, what was that? 29 just was uploaded Monday morning. So there's new content. There's already 29 episodes. So we love hearing from our readers and our viewers. And if you have thoughts, comments, please leave them in the link below and follow us on the Rose City, the After Show on Facebook. And, communicate with us over there, talk with us over there, hang out with us over there as well. So thank you again for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.